Hey, everybody out there, Chat Cinema Podcast. Since the movie theaters are closed, but of course we all have streaming services, we're going to talk about some program content on Amazon and Netflix. I'm here with Christine. You guys know she is a Chat Cinema contributor. We're always talking about movies, of course. And Christine is a real cinephile. She loves movies. I'm a bit more cynical about it, but she's more open-hearted. So we needed someone to temper my weariness, I guess. We're going to talk about three, I guess, two TV shows and a movie: Sylvie's Love, Bridgerton, and Queen's Gambit. Of course,
Yeah.
those,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so you want to start, Christine? What did you think?
Well, first of all, we have a lot to watch at the beginning of the new year. I think there are really some uh, cool new movies and series out there. Bridgerton started at the end of the year. I
Yeah.
think Queen's Gambit was a little bit before, and then we also have Sylvie's Love on Amazon Prime, which is a movie, not a series.
uh,
So first of all, that so at least we have something to watch.
well, we binge watched the series Bridgerton and the Queen's Gambit. I binge watched them.
Yes, and I also binge watched Lupin, the French series with Omar Sy, which is also highly successful, and I can recommend to you and everybody else.
I didn't watch that one, so let's stick
Yeah,
on the three movies. I didn't watch the French film. I'll try to watch it. But what did
so
you
for
think
next time.
next time, the next show? What did you think of? Okay, let's get the series out of the way. What did you think of the Queen's Gambit since we both saw that?
Okay. Well, yeah, I liked Queen's Gambit very much because I think it was something really, I'd say intelligent. So it was not just a love story or just the usual stuff. So it was about more. It was about a coming of age story of a young girl, of course, but it was also about chess and the passion for something, in this
Hmm.
case, chess. And I think they really found a good way to show that, to show how the chess play works in her mind and how she's obsessed by it. And yeah.
Well, I didn't like the part. At times, it got a little uncomfortable. All the drugs she was taking to play chess. I was a bit okay. A drug
Yeah.
addict playing chess. All right. What I liked the most, I liked the performances a lot. I liked the production values. I thought the script got a little repetitive at times, a bit. Okay, I get the point here. Move on. And some of the plot devices, I was a bit like lazy writing
I
at
wouldn't
times.
say.
Not all of them, but that was.
Yeah, but the production values are so good. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I like
was
the
really
production value.
wonderful costumes and
Mm,
wonderful designs. And it
it
was
is.
shot in Berlin. So you
Yeah.
have, being Berliners, the fun to say, maybe this is here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true. But like I said, the performances I loved. But like I said, at times I just thought it got a little bit, like I said, I'm repeating myself. Haha. It got a little repetitive. I was like, okay, I get it. I mean, can we and you know what else I didn't like? Sometimes the characters came in and out too quickly. Like
Yeah.
her mother's character, I liked a lot. I wish the mother had stayed around. The woman, I can't remember her name, but I thought the mother's character, I thought she died too quickly. I didn't like that. I wanted it to be. It wasn't as developed as I would have liked.
Yes, yeah, I can go with you there. And I also I really liked the mother because it was such an unusual, extraordinary
Yeah,
relationship between mother and adopted
yeah,
daughter. So yeah, was really something special. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. So I was like, oh, too bad the mother died. And I thought she was so funny. And of course, she had dysfunctional relationships. Okay, yeah, standard. And there have been some criticisms about what's her name, Jolene, the black character, who's basically the token black character taking care of her, which I had some problems with that storyline a little bit too. She was trying, yeah, I thought it was a bit too politically correct at times, 21st century, so we're looking at the 60s in political correct terms. Okay, she drove a nice car. She was going to become a lawyer, and she was militant black. And I was like, okay, this is making me a bit, I don't know how you felt about it, because I'm from that part of the world, so, and it
Mhm.
wasn't quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch that with this kind of realistic
Yeah,
setting or so, because then I would also say, okay, isn't that really realistic?
yeah,
What is going on? And also the whole Russian American relationships.
yeah,
So I just watched it more like, yeah, kind of fantasy set
yeah,
back in the 50s, but not as a kind of realistic description of the time. So I haven't read the book, so I don't know
yeah.
whether how they changed it.
Hmm.
So
But yeah,
yeah.
overall, I gave it a B plus.
Hmm.
Overall, I gave it a B plus, which for me is high, everybody. But I gave it a B plus. I liked it. Maybe an A minus, but I definitely gave it a strong B plus. Next show, which is from Shonda Rhimes, and it has been getting a lot of buzz lately. I'm not really sure if it's getting buzz for the program or just because they have very sexy men and women in the show. Bridgerton. All right, so this is going to take a moment. What do you think?
Oh yeah. So can we first swoon over the male lead because well,
Yeah,
such
good casting there. Some really sexy men there. Well, I'm like, 18th century Britain was like this. Let's all get a time machine and head back.
yeah. So this was so I think the casting is really good, and I'm really looking forward to the next series. I think we have to wait a little bit for it. Um, but yeah, it was also fun to watch because it's also I can't take it as an
Yeah.
halfway realistic description of the time. And of course, we have to talk about the colorblind. Um,
Colorblind casting, of course.
yes, but it was like, yeah, like a big, big cake with a lot of cream and candy. And after it,
I
you
agree.
felt it stuff, but you want more.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I just took it as cotton candy entertainment. And once I got over that, I was like, okay, fine. The first episode or two was a bit jolting to me because black people in a costume drama. I was like, okay, let me take this in for a minute. But then, you turn your mind off to it, and it's actually it's a bit decadent. Like you said, a cake.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And yeah, but oh, I liked it because it felt like, oh, you have these 19th century cool guys, and like you imagine it a little bit. It was a little bit like Jane Austen and Steam.
Jane Austen on speed. Okay. I'll put that in the description. That's true. Jane Austen on speed. I'm writing that down, everybody. So what grade would I give Bridgerton? I give it a B plus too. B plus. It's good entertainment. It's definitely worth
Yeah,
binge watching.
absolutely. And let's be honest, that is what we want at the moment.
Yes.
A little bit of escapism. You want to see who wants to see a really realistic show about the current situation? I don't. I have it every day. I want some fun. I want some nice costumes. I want a
Mm,
podcast.
that's true. It definitely it's like, yeah, I mean, watching those shirtless guys, I'm like, okay. Yeah, I
Mm.
could take a little bit more of that. They were good looking. All right, last one, Sylvie's Love. What did you think?
We talked about this before, so I know your opinion. I loved it. Uh,
Okay, everybody. Yeah, just
uh,
I didn't love it. It was okay
yeah.
for me. Why did you love it? It's a chick flick.
Because it it may be, but yeah, it took me back on time. So I really was in there. It felt, of course, it was like the top Haynes movies, made
Yeah,
like look like a Douglas Sirk, but it
yeah,
worked for me. I liked the really the how every scene was constructed and looked, and it was beautiful. It was just beautiful. And I thought the female lead, she was really great. He was okay. He was,
yeah. I thought she was better.
yeah, she was absolutely, yeah, but she was stunning. And well, it's called Sylvie's Love, so it's about her love. So this
Yeah,
was okay. That there was a little bit this parent. So she was stronger than him.
hmm But to me, it just took such a long time to build up. I mean, the movie's an hour and 58 minutes, so my attention span was.
Uh, I'm surprised that you watched all the movies and all the
Yeah.
series.
Yeah, so am
So
I. That should tell you guys what lockdown is doing to me. But
yeah, brag.
for me, okay. But I thought it just took a long time to build up, and it was a bit standard as far as the screenplay goes. You knew what was going to happen, and you could have done it in a shorter time.
Yes, maybe, but I watched it on the 1st January, so when
Oh,
you're a little slow, and so it was a perfect film for this day. You was just sitting there and yeah, transforming into this time, into this movie. And for me, it was, yeah, like a kind of, yeah, time machine or something.
beautifully
And
filmed.
another place, another time. And so it worked perfectly for me. And I was sitting there and I thought, oh, I'm so lucky that the first film I picked for the start of the year, for me, the first film has always to be carefully chosen, has to be something special.
Yeah, we know.
Usually Usually for cinema, this time it had to be on my laptop, but I was happy with it. I thought, okay, at least a good start into this year.
To 2021.
Mm,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, like I said, but I was like, let's take 30 minutes off of this, please. At times I saw I was thinking, but like I said, I just thought at the beginning there were so many scenes to build it up to it. I was like, and it's like, but I did like I said, the Todd Haynes, Douglas Sirk references. But I was like, oh my God, come on, I know where this is going to go. You're leading me there, and like I said,
Yeah, okay, it wasn't tempo driven or
no.
something, but for me, I could indulge into those beautiful pictures. That is why it worked so well for me.
Okay, so what's your so we recommended this on well, she recommends it more than I do. It's on Amazon Prime, Sylvie's Love. What's your score
I
out of
would say A minus.
Wow, you really did like it. Okay, I'm giving it sorry, a B minus.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm a bit harder when it comes to stuff like that. I don't know why, but I
Uh,
mean it's the type of movie you just watch with some for me, it would be the type of movie I watch with some Doritos, some chips and dip,
mm,
for example. And I have nothing else to watch. I don't know. Because for some it just didn't hit me the way I thought it would.
mm, yeah. Well, for me, it worked perfectly without Doritos.
Oh.
Uh, only glass of the leftover champagne from New Year's Eve.
Okay.
The new year, but hopefully better than the last one. And well, at least we can look forward to some interesting movies on Netflix and Prime. Yeah.
That's true. Stay tuned. We'll keep you guys updated. Okay. Ciao.
Bye.